The Bengals with this win are now 5-8. And not the worst schedule for Cincinnati over the final 4 games. Cincinnati visits Tennessee this weekend. The Bengals are a 5-point favorite in the betting market. Then they host Cleveland, host the Denver Broncos, and visit the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 18. If Burrow and company stay healthy, they're going to be favorites. They're a favorite this weekend. They'll be a favorite at home against the Browns. They'll be a favorite at home against the Denver Broncos. And we'll see what the deal is going into Week 18. It'll be a small spread game, right? No matter what, on the road at the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, the question that has to be asked, are the Cincinnati Bengals going to make the playoffs? If you think the answer is yes, plus 1,100 is the price at our show sponsor, BetMGM. My answer to that question, I would like to quote the great 20th century philosopher, Dr. Evil. How about no? Does people think the Bengals are going to win out? Even if they win out, they still might get in. They almost lost last night to the Cowboys, if not for the block punt fiasco at the end of the game. They stink. Like, Burrow's great, no question. Chase is great. Higgins is great. Chase Brown is great. They have some really good talent. The defense is atrocious. They allowed almost 6 yards per play last night to Cooper Rush, Rico Dowdle, and the Cowboys. Do you think they're going to win out? You don't think they're going to lose one of these games coming up here? At least one of these games? They get to 9 losses? At least one? I mean, God almighty. There's no chance. How about no? No, the Bengals aren't making the playoffs. Can we not do this? I mean, we have to talk about it. It's a good talking point, but I mean, give me a frickin' break on the Cincinnati Bengals. So I think you don't think it's going to happen, but I'm like way out on it. You seem like you're not all the way out on it. Why? Cincy to make the playoffs, yes. Plus 1,100 at BetMGM. Since he's currently 5-8, the Denver Broncos currently hold the last playoff seed in the AFC, the 7th seed at 8-5.
Well, I think this adds a lot of pressure to the Denver Broncos in this Sunday's game against Indianapolis. Because watching the game last night, I was thinking to myself, I was like, this is probably a really bad result for Denver. Because when I was thinking about Denver's prospects to make the playoffs, I said, hey, like Cincinnati at that point, they're probably going to be out of it. They're not going to be playing for anything. Now the Bengals are likely going to be playing for like their season in that game. That will likely be a playoff game for the Cincinnati Bengals. And the fact that they can beat Denver, the team that's ahead of them, the team that currently has the 7th seed, I'm not going to count you out. And Denver, tricky game this Sunday. Like, we both like Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis can win the game. And then after that, they play the Los Angeles Chargers. Like, we could be talking about an 8-7 Denver Bronco team coming out of the bye week to where it's like, now they have to go to Cincinnati to play Joe Burrow. Now, I think it's unlikely because even if they do run the table, they still need help. They would need like Houston to collapse or Indianapolis, one of those South teams, to not be able to get there to the finish line as well. But I just think it's a little bit more likely than, let's say, like the 11-1 or like, there's no chance the Bengals can make the playoffs. There's a chance.
They have to win out, right?
They have to win out.
But like, that's another part because it's not just because for me it's almost like, yeah, we can entertain all the other stuff that needs to happen. But the first thing that needs to happen is they can't lose another game, which is possible. Like, they're going to be favored in the first 3. And Week 18 against the Steelers, if they win maybe they'll be favored in that game if they're 8-8, needing to win to get in. We'll see. Just, do you have because I don't. Do you have the confidence in this Bengals defense not collapsing? Like, why can't they give up 38 points to the Browns? Like, I do think that they'll beat the Titans. But I'm being serious. Yeah. I'm not going to bet Tennessee. I don't know if I'm going to lay Cincinnati. Why can't I know it's Will Levis. Why can't the Titans score like 27 points? The Bengals defense is horrific. It's terrible. That's where I get caught up here. It's not so much, we need X, Y, and Z to happen. I don't know if the Bengals can hold up their end of the bargain. And Femi and Burrow, but it's not an anti-Burrow take. I don't have faith in this defense.
The defense is horrendous. I mean, Burrow leads the league in passing yards, leads the league in passing touchdowns. Jamar Chase, phenomenal, maybe the best receiver in the NFL now, and the team stinks because the defense is really, really bad. If they're going to trip up, I actually think it will be the game where they're hosting the Denver Broncos. I think it would be Sean Payton and Bo Nix going into there and lighting up that defense. Like, I think that that game is going to be important. And then if you're the Denver Broncos, like, yeah, like you welcome the challenge, but it just makes it that much more difficult for you to make the postseason. But that's the game that I've kind of identified as, hey, like if Cincinnati's going to mess this up, it will be week 17 at home against Denver. Because I think Denver is more capable than Cleveland or than the Tennessee Titans coming up on Sunday. Like Tennessee, I mean, I get it. Theoretically, they can, but I mean, I miss me with Will Levis. I just can't do that guy anymore. Like he's gonna be an underdog, which is great, but yeah, it's bad. But I think that week 17 is gonna be really impactful. To which, if you're Denver, they might be feeling the pressure as well if they lose on Sunday and then they lose next Thursday night when they visit the Chargers.
Okay, so would you make that bet? Bengals to make the playoffs plus 1,100.
I've been thinking about it since last night. The upside of Burrow and Chase is very attractive. That's why everybody keeps falling for this Bengals thing. I actually think I'll make the bet because I think I can monetize it once we get to week 17.
All right, hold on. All right, so Mike, keep Femi solo here.
I don't know if I don't want to cut a Bengals promo, no, because this team, I don't trust them to cut the promo. Because I'm also the same guy that cut the promo at the beginning of the season that said Cincinnati's not going to be the Super Bowl team you want, cross them off the list because the defense sucks. So like I hear you on the defense.
But you could thread that needle. Like they're not going to win the Super Bowl, obviously, but they could go to the playoffs. You could be right about both.
But to me, it's more about the price than it is about the quality of the team. Like, which is a lot of conversations about betting. It's like the price is 11-1. It's massive, and I have the quarterback who's played probably like the best quarterback in the NFL this season.
Okay. I think they're losing at least one more. I can be wrong. Burrow's incredible. Chase Higgins, Chase Brown, like they're really, really good. Just I mean, the way that they've played all season, I don't see it. And like, what happens if they don't block that punt, or Amani, or Warrior?
Yeah, you got it.
I got it.
This is your new Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah. The Green Goblin mask doesn't call out to him. He doesn't hear. He rejects the siren song. Does Dallas win the game?
They just cover. I don't know if they win. I think they just cover.
Just saying. I don't think the Bengals will make it. I think it would be fun if they did. They'd be dangerous going into the playoffs. I don't think that they're going to. All right. Bengals at the Titans. Bengals, Femi, a 5-point road favorite in Tennessee, total 47.5.
Yeah, this is one that I think is just right on line. I think this should be in the dead zone. Cincinnati's defense shouldn't get enough credit to where they're laying like the key number of 6, and nor should it ever be down to like 3.5 or 3 in that range because everybody would just lay the Cincinnati Bengals. So when I thought about this game, I felt 5.5. That makes sense. That's where we sit. We'll see where the market takes us within the week, whether it's money on Tennessee or money on Cincinnati. But at that point, I think then I'll have a more, strong opinion about this game. But until then, I'm just going to go ahead and pass this one side and total.
I think I agree with Femi. Like the number, honestly, I always preface this by saying I'm not Jimmy the Greek. I'm Nick the Greek. I'm not Jimmy the Greek. My point spread in the game is Bengals -5. Like literally the same exact thing. So we'll see if there's any movement one way or another. For now, I'll tell you what. Just my opinion. I would bet the Titans if I had to bet the game.